Dear vegans and animal rights activists, I'm going to ask you to please watch this video fully before making any decisions or any assumptions or leaving any comment in the comment section below. I'd like to talk about the current situation and why I personally believe that it is very important for us to be active these days. When it comes to veganism, as animal rights activists, we fight against oppression. And in this fight against oppression, our focus are the animals. But this doesn't mean in any way that we agree with other types of oppression. In fact, it would be quite hypocritical to fight against the oppression of animals while accepting or agreeing with the oppression of other victims, no matter who the victim is. I want to share a few reasons with you why I believe it's so important for us to be vocal and active these days. And by this I mean raise awareness about human rights as well as animal rights. Again, as I said, this video might be sensitive, you might feel triggered by anything that I say, but I beg you to please watch all of it. I'm not in any way claiming that what I'm going to say is the ultimate truth. This is something that I have concluded myself, and I'm always open to having respectful conversations. This video is aimed at everyone who considers themselves a part of the animal rights or the vegan community. Here's why I believe we should take a firm and vocal stance. Number one, humans are also animals. I know, you might be thinking, oh, not this sentence again, humans are also animals, blah, blah, blah. 84,000 non-human animals are being killed every single second, and that is the most horrible thing I could imagine. But that doesn't mean that we should shut up when it comes to human animals getting killed. Humans are also animals, and by default, if you are against the oppression of animals, then you are also against the oppression of humans. Number two, consistency. Taking time and raising awareness about other types of oppression or other rights movements such as the Black rights movement, especially right now, does not in any way devalue your animal rights activism. Actually, it only makes it stronger. Why? Because you're being consistent. I think it goes without saying that being inconsistent is one of the weakest actions that we could take as activists. And if anything, it could really devalue the message that we are trying to spread about animal rights. And this is why I say that being vocal about this is not going to devalue your activism. If anything, it's going to make it stronger. We all call out others on their inconsistencies. When someone is saving dogs or cats, but at the same time eating other animal products, we call them out on this inconsistency. Well, how horrible would it be if we were inconsistent in our activism when it comes to speaking against oppression? Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not in any way saying that you should drop everything that you're doing and only talk about human rights. I personally not even for that. I'm just saying that a post or two or a conversation or two or going to one protest or two is not going to hinder your animal rights activism. If you feel okay to call out other people on their inconsistencies, why do you think you're exempt from being called out on your inconsistency? If you are being inconsistent in your fight against oppression, then you're going to get called out. And that's going to weaken your animal rights message. Third point is solidarity. Have you as an animal rights activist ever felt powerless or alone or not enough in numbers when it comes to fighting for animal rights? Well, others also go through that. Now, I know what you might be thinking. You're going to say, yeah, but they have worldwide support. Millions of people are supporting them. Yes, of course they do. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't support them. In fact, you not showing support is a very loud message, and a message that's really not good for our community. At the end of the day, how hard is it to show some solidarity to another rights-based movement? As we all know, the vegan movement is a rights-based movement. We are asking for simple rights, the basic rights of animals not to be violated, so that they don't get exploited, they don't get killed and be used in any other way against their will. So be there for others, but don't do this because you expect them to be there for you as well. Do it because this is the right thing to do. You're not doing it so that in a month or two you call them up and say, now you have to come to my protest. Alright, this is not a business. You're doing it because it's the right thing to do. This is solidarity. This is justice. And when it comes to justice, we all know that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. A Martin Luther King quote that we as animal rights activists use all the time. You see, we feel very comfortable sharing the quotes of Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, who actually started their activism defending Black rights. You don't get to use the quotes that were created for a certain movement, but then not support that movement when they need it. Number four, alliances. By showing that as an animal rights activist, you are going out there and showing support to other activists from other justice movements, whether in person or online, you are building alliances. You are creating a network of people that you are meeting. Most of the time, people who are not vegan. This can massively help our own movement. If you care about the animal liberation movement, then you should be doing this. If you think you're too good to build alliances with non-vegan activists, well, maybe that might feel right for you, but at the end of the day, you're not the one paying the price. The animals are. This can massively help our own movement. If you care about the animal liberation movement, you should care about this. And you know what? You can feel good and say, I'm not going to build any alliances with non-vegans, and you're going to feel that you did the right thing because they're not vegan and it's not consistent. But guess what? You're not the one paying the price, the animals are. Because at the end of the day, we need numbers that we don't have. We're around the 1% of the world population. We do need numbers. We need worldwide support. And you can only get that by integrating yourself into other communities and bringing up conversations and speaking with others from other justice movements. You can't do that if you don't become a part of these other communities. That's when you can start influencing them. And guess what? Maybe in the beginning they're not going to be vegan, but when you start working together, I promise you a lot of people are open to the message. So go out there, meet them, sit down with them, communicate with them, learn from them, and share with them what you have learned yourself. This is the only thing that we can do to make sure that we are not an alienated movement. Because guess what? If you think that you're gonna change the whole world, the whole food system in the entire world, and save the animals, then you're making a fool out of yourself. There's no way you can do that by remaining 1% of the worldwide population. Number 5 is violence. Whether you are an animal rights activist or a human rights activist, you are raising awareness about violence. And we all know how much it helps us when people share footage or images or even texts talking about the violence inflicted on the victims that we are raising awareness for. You know how it feels like to have access to this information and not being able to share it to enough people. And that's why you can do this as well for others. Number 6 is the enemy. We all share the same enemy: ignorance and brainwashing. How many times during your animal rights activism have you heard, well, what about plants? What about this? What about that? That's exactly how it feels like when you're doing activism for a certain group of people who are oppressed and someone says, well, all lives matter. Of course all lives matter, and that's exactly why you're getting active, because although all lives matter, some people are being treated as if their lives don't matter. And that's happening right now. Okay, the same way people act like the animal lives don't matter, people are acting like black lives don't matter, and that's exactly why you should also get active for them. Ignorance and brainwashing are two extremely dangerous weapons that oppressors use. You know this so well as an animal rights activist. You know how important raising awareness and education is. Get active. By joining the current protests, whether online or in person, you are standing up against oppression. You are raising awareness for equality. You are fighting for justice. You are fighting for system change. Every single thing that I mentioned is a part of the animal rights movement that we all fight for. If you think that this is bad for veganism because you are coming out of your way and using your time for other justice movements, how do you actually think that the world is gonna go vegan and see animals the way we want them to see animals when they can't even see black people as equals? If you think that the world is gonna go vegan before the first part that I mentioned, which is having humans seen equally, I really hope you do some more reading on social change and understand how these things happen. To believe that you can achieve animal liberation before some humans are seen equally is out of this world. There's no way we're gonna get to the point where animals' basic rights are being respected when there's humans whose basic rights are not being respected. Unfortunately, this is the way the world works. Now I'm gonna say this again because I'm sure some people are gonna say it in the comment section. By doing this, you are not turning your back on the animals, okay? I'm not asking you to stop talking about animal rights. There should never be a time where you don't talk about animal rights. It should be there. As I said in the beginning of the video, 84,000 animals are killed every single second. Never turn your back on them. They have very few people who are talking about their rights, and we should continue to always do that. All I'm asking you for you to do is to show some support and solidarity, and believe it or not, that does not take away anything from your activism. If anything, it's gonna make it stronger, it's gonna make it better. As I said, you create alliances, you create a network, you can influence more people, you can have big numbers, which is what our movement needs. But keep in mind, this shouldn't be the only reason you're doing it. One of the other reasons that you're gonna be doing this is because you want to be consistent in your activism. The last thing we need is people being inconsistent while fighting against oppression. We should always fight against speciesism together and move forward, but there's a way to do that. We cannot alienate ourselves more than we are already alienated from the rest of the world and think that we're going to achieve some ridiculous goal that we're trying to achieve without the support of others. As animal rights activists, we often talk about human privilege and human supremacy when it comes to comparing to animals. Well, how privileged of you to not be going through what other human beings are going through right now. It's much easier to just read or watch something about racism than be actually the victim of racism or any other type of discrimination. Now put that privilege in action and educate yourself. Educate yourself and offer support and solidarity. I promise it's not going to do any harm to your activism, nor the animals. Do this for the human victims, do this for the animals you're fighting for, do this for our community so that we can grow stronger than ever. Do this for every single victim on this world who is being treated unjustly and being discriminated against, and do it because it's the right thing to do. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. This is my personal opinion on the current issue that we're facing. I really believe that doing this does not take away anything from our activism. If anything, it makes it stronger. And I also believe that we have the moral responsibility to raise awareness about victims of oppression, whether they are human or non-human animals. That being said, please feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below. I am always open to hearing different opinions. Again, I am not here to spread hate. This is not coming in any way from a place of hate or judgment towards anyone. This is purely coming out of my personal concern about what's going on. So if you want to share anything, you want to share your opinion or your belief or thoughts, feel free to leave it in the comment section below. And lastly, I'm going to ask you, if you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification button if you'd like to be up to date with all the videos that I'm uploading. If you want to support my work, check out my website or ethicsoverhabits.com for vegan, zero waste products and activism clothing, all made ethically with organic materials. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.